Okay, let's dive into a real head-scratcher. For decades, one single airport has totally dominated global air travel, handling more people than any other on the entire planet. But I bet the answer to which airport it is not what you think.
So I'm going to ask you straight up. When you hear busiest airport in the world, what city pops into your head? Go on, take a guess.
You thinking of a massive global hub like New York with that iconic skyline? Or maybe London, the historic center of international travel? What about one of the newer, super glitzy mega hubs like Dubai? All fantastic guesses, but they're all wrong.
What's really crazy is that this isn't some recent thing. Except for one brief little blip during the pandemic, the same airport has held this title for nearly a quarter of a century. Just let that sink in. For 25 years, through huge shifts in the global economy and how we travel, it has stayed on top. That's not a winning streak, that's a straight-up dynasty. And the answer is Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International. Yep, ATL. In a city that, let's be honest, isn't always seen as a top-tier global capital, you find the undisputed king of airports. So the real question is, how on earth did Atlanta pull this off?
So, the first piece of the puzzle, and you could argue it's the most important, is geography. Atlanta's location is its secret weapon. It's kind of like a natural cheat code for building an aviation superpower.
It all starts right here. Atlanta is perfectly positioned, smack in the heart of the booming U.S. Southeast. From this one spot, a staggering 80% of the entire United States population is just a 2-hour flight away. Then you add in flat, open land for easy expansion and clear skies, none of the aerial traffic jams you see over New York or Chicago, and you've got the perfect foundation.
And this is where that geographic advantage just gets supercharged. Think about a huge city like New York. It splits all its air traffic between 3 major airports, right? It divides the flow. Atlanta does the exact opposite. It concentrates everything into one massive funnel serving the entire metro area and making sure every single passenger is channeled through its gates.
But look, a perfect location is just a starting point. If geography is the airport's skeleton, then its partnership with one particular airline is its powerful beating heart. And I am talking, of course, about Delta Airlines.
The relationship between ATL and Delta is one of the most successful partnerships in the history of aviation. I mean, it's truly symbiotic. Delta is headquartered right there in Atlanta, and they account for a massive 70% of all passenger traffic at the airport. You literally can't tell the story of one without the other. They grew up together, and they've made each other into global giants.
So how'd they do it? By perfecting this model right here, the hub-and-spoke network. Delta actually pioneered this whole concept in Atlanta way back in 1955. Instead of flying point to point, they funneled passengers from all over the country through their Atlanta hub and then sent them out to their final destinations. This was a total game changer, because it meant they could serve way more cities with fewer planes, turning Atlanta into a gigantic transfer machine.
The scale of this whole operation today, it's just mind-boggling. We are talking about nearly 1,000 Delta flights, 968 to be exact, leaving from Atlanta every single day. That's more than one flight taking off every 2 minutes, all day long. It's this constant, perfectly choreographed dance that feeds their entire global network.
Okay, so you've got a great location and a great partner, but you still have to be able to handle all that traffic. And this brings us to the third secret, the airport's brilliant engineering. It's designed for one thing and one thing only: speed. It all starts out on the airfield with these 5 massive parallel runways. Now, having them all lined up like that isn't just for looks, it is the absolute key to efficiency. It lets the airport run simultaneous takeoffs and landings without planes ever getting in each other's way. It's less like a runway and more like a multi-lane aerial highway.
And the result of that brilliant design? Well, at peak times, the airport can handle up to 250 takeoffs and landings an hour. That's more than 4 planes every single minute. It's an almost unheard of rate of flow, moving aircraft in and out with just absolute machine-like precision.
And this obsession with speed carries over from the planes to the people. Because of a really simple linear terminal layout that's connected by this incredibly efficient underground train, the airport makes transfers remarkably fast. Even if you land on the absolute farthest runway and your next flight is at the total opposite end of the airport, you can get to your gate in about 10 minutes. The whole system is just built for flow.
So, the final piece of the puzzle is vision. Atlanta's success didn't just happen overnight. No way. It was the result of a century of smart, deliberate, and forward-thinking growth.
This timeline really shows how ATL has just been constantly evolving for 100 years. From its first little mail plane back in the 20s, to building the country's largest terminal in the 60s, and then the world's largest in the 80s. But here's the crucial part. Every single expansion was a direct response to real demand. They never built too much too soon. They always stayed just one step ahead of what they needed.
And this gets to the absolute core of Atlanta's identity. It's not trying to be Singapore with its incredible waterfalls or Dubai with its gold-plated luxury. Atlanta's secret isn't about being flashy. It's about being flawlessly, almost ruthlessly efficient.
So, to sum it all up, the winning formula is right here. You've got the perfect geography, a powerhouse partnership with Delta, an engineering design that is obsessed with speed, and this long-term vision for smart growth. These four forces came together to create the unstoppable giant we see today.
You know, a quote from one of the sources for this explainer just says it best. A true hub isn't about dazzling facilities, but the ability to let millions flow seamlessly. It's all about that invisible magic of moving millions of people without a single hitch. And when it comes to that specific art, Atlanta is the undisputed world champion.
Which kind of leaves us with a final thought. In a world that so often values style over substance, Atlanta's whole success story makes you ask, what's really more powerful in the long run? Is it the flashy exterior, or is it the perfectly engineered, unstoppable flow?